Ciao, hi, hey guys, it's your boy video, and today I want to talk about my plans for February. It's the first. I actually did want to do it start yesterday at least, but I didn't get around to it as I was out with my stepdad. He gave me a shave, how to pronounce that right, but he gave me a shave and all that kind of stuff, and I spent some time playing Monopoly and that kind of thing. And I was perplexed that I lost that game. But it is only a game, as they say. First world problems. So anyway, um, yeah, he won. Sorry, nice life story now, but he won with. I know I mentioned this kind of before, but with the Greens, everyone knows Monopoly. I had like 4 or 5 Monopolies, so I was shocked to have lost that game, but more shocked than disappointed, I guess. But sometimes normally I don't believe in luck, but I wonder if there is a luck. What do you think? I'd love to know whether you think there is luck in Monopoly or even in business. I just think it's not really luck; it's how you serve the customer, providing value, solving problems. I was going to say solving solutions then, solving problems and that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm going way off track. But anyway, these are some of my plans, or most of my plans on, or for, rather, February. And I hope you enjoy them. And I'd love to know if you have any plans of your own or what you think about these plans. Um, I know I said in January I had quite a few selfish plans because it was the first month of the year and I thought look after number one and that kind of thing. But there are lots of things like learning to invest, learning to become more independent, and other things I didn't quite get around to doing, but it is what it is. I did also want to talk about a review of 2025, but can you believe we're already in February? But anyway, here goes. These are pointers number 1 to 10. Um, Before I get onto this, I also wanted to say about football, like or soccer, for any Americans out there. Um, the theme I want to focus on is mainly about America. But I'll come to that in a sec or two, or a minute or two or whatever. But Celtic and the Rankers as I call them were playing and they drew. I was hoping Hibs would get a late goal to do Celtic a favour, although probably Hearts as I call them rather maturely or immaturely rather call them Hearts instead of Hearts. But again, sorry for those who are not into footy or soccer or whatever. I hope I can get people into soccer, including African Americans. But yeah, I checked last time I checked Celtic were winning 2-0, so hopefully we can continue to win. It'd be good if we got another couple of goals or at least one goal, but hopefully we can see it through and um, get back to winning ways and hopefully win this league, all being well. I was going to say it was an African American, but it wasn't. It was a black guy from France who was our manager who didn't do too well, unfortunately. But anyway, on that note, here goes. So number one, I hope as it's Black History Month in America, I hope to focus on trying to empower and just generally support and uplift the African American community and things like that. So I hope to focus on that, empowering, supporting, uplifting, and whatnot, doing whatever I can to empower um, African Americans and focus on that. So that would be my main focus. Hopefully, would be on supporting African Americans to help them to reach their full potential and be empowered. And I hope to work with African Americans themselves and potential allies like myself, other allies such as like myself, who can hopefully help African Americans to be empowered somehow. So I hope to talk throughout the month about how maybe we could achieve that goal and hopefully get ideas from other people. So if you have any ideas of your own, as ever, please do share them either on Facebook and or YouTube. And I suppose one thing I would have done if I was more organised is another thing I wanted to do in January, but I still haven't got around to it, is to create my own TikTok channel perhaps. I wonder what you think about that. Should I have another platform? Just so I have my content on 3 platforms, which could one thing it could do is help me to get to a wider audience potentially, hopefully. And the second thing is it would mean hopefully I won't be too cringe-worthy, that's one disadvantage. But secondly, it means if for whatever reason I lose content on one platform, I still hopefully will have it on at least another platform on the law of averages. But moving on, number 2, talking about empowering, I love to support, as I put it, support to, as it's a Sunday, support to achieve success. So I hope to support the African American community, and I think that includes by listening to them. I think that involves listening to them, listening to what their goals are and what success. I put success in speech marks because it is what success means to African Americans. So for some it might be making more money, for some it might be being more healthy, Some it might even be relationships or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how I can help with that, but to listen to them, and I hope to interview African Americans on their views and things like that, and success stories. Find out about success stories from African Americans and interview African Americans and support them as much as possible. Which I guess it gives a purpose in life and that kind of thing. For someone who's quite rebellious and wants to do things differently, sucker for sticking to the rules and laws like African American. Black History Month in America, trying to stick to that theme. But yeah, I hope to focus on that as much as possible, and maybe even as interview African Americans and talk about their journey, their struggles, achievements, successes, problems, challenges, and whatever it might be, respectively, and find out more about African American success stories and views and opinions from African Americans and how to support them, whether that's in business, politics, or any other areas throughout this month, all being well. Moving on, number 3, I hope to talk about what African Americans think about libertarianism and what freedom means to African Americans, and again focus on African American empowerment as much as possible. I'll try and do that, as I say, and read from and hear and share other people's ideas as well. So again, if anyone wants to comment either on Facebook or YouTube, at the moment I don't have a TikTok channel, unfortunately, but again, hope to have my content on all possible platforms, as much of it as possible. So I'd love to do that, and I guess I'd love to as I interview and possibly be interviewed by African Americans, but especially to interview them about their stories, their journey, success stories, problems, and whatever else, negative or positive or whatever, or in between, or a bit of both or whatever, and what they think could be done to improve their situation and whatnot, how they could lobby together and work together, and learn from each other and whatnot, and sharing opinions and what freedom means to African Americans, as I say, and what African Americans think of libertarianism. Or even what they know about it and what they think about it and that kind of thing. And I was trying to remember something I was thinking of and trying to think of, and that is maybe African Americans could share search on their platforms as well, so on their YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, or whatever, wherever they want to share it. Possibly using Zoom, Discord, and other search platforms. I hope to empower the worldwide Black diaspora, especially in America itself. And on that note, number 4, as I say, I wonder if there could be a network for Black people around the world in politics, business, tech, STEM generally, and other areas. Again, I hope to come to that in more details in this month, during this month. And controversial views, perhaps, but normally I like to focus on different themes for different days. So I'm thinking of, like, on Mondays, I can focus on my thoughts on more Black people being involved in the police, the judicial system, politics, business, and other areas, political lobbying, getting involved in politics, becoming senators and whatnot. And I think that African Americans, maybe working with other minorities, should boycott the military and that kind of thing, and maybe work with other POC, people of colour, and other minority groups. I even think non-WASPs should work together, given that WASPs, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, oftentimes can, not all of them obviously, but many could be against other people. Obviously, the Ku Klux Klan was or is a Protestant group, anti-Catholic, anti-Black, and whatnot, anti-POC, and that kind of thing. So maybe that hate could unite people, which remind me of something as well. So moving on to number 5, as I say, I hope to support Black people with their ambitions and listening to them, because some might say, well, I really want to make lots of money. Some might say, I want to be given a voice politically. Some might say they want to improve relations with their family, or whatever it might be. And it'd be great to discuss ideas. And I'm thinking formal relationships. I don't really do relationships as in romantic ones. So as an romantic, I don't think I'd be able to help with that. But it'll be interesting to hear different people's stories and views and things like that in different areas. But I hope to help them to reach their full potential, and to make an empowerment plan, which I hope to come to in more details, and see how different companies and organisations. I was thinking after this video, I'm hoping to go for a Subway, and I was thinking how companies like Subway, Microsoft, IBM, Dell, or any other companies could support the Black community, and how they could invest in each other and support each other, and how they can maybe pool their money and resources together and build networks, even globally, as I say, maybe they could connect, like Black, British and African American people could connect together, and again worldwide in Europe, all over Africa, Asia, and around the world, Australasia and whatnot, and support and empower each other. But as it's Black History Month in America, I'm hoping to mainly focus on that. So I'm hoping to focus on that as much as possible, and again help them with ambitions. I'm sure there's something else I was going to say, but I've completely forgotten. But I hope they can connect with other communities, like improve relations with Hispanics, Latinos, Asians, mixed race people, as I say, Latinos, Hispanics. So yeah, Asians, mixed race, Native Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, and maybe members of the Jewish community. Look at how they can improve relations and work together against extremism, work together against the KKK and that kind of thing. And again, rather controversial, I believe they shouldn't join the military. Maybe people should start boycotting like ICE and the military and whatnot. And it's really bugging me, but I've forgotten something I was going to say. But moving on anyway. Number 6. How to get more African Americans into soccer. And I love for Italian teams like AC Milan, and even their rivals Inter Milan and whatnot. As a mad fan of Italian football or soccer or whatever you call it, generally, I love for them, or others if you like, as a fan of them, to create academies and even training centres and help more African Americans to get into soccer, and even like as players, but also as coaches as well as supporters. They could become coaches, players, and whatnot. Sad to see it didn't work. I jumped ahead of myself, but sad to see it didn't work for, as I called him, Brother Wilfred, or I call him Brother Wilfred. But sad to see it didn't work for Celtic. But I know he's not African American. He's Black French. But it'd be good to see maybe more managers from different backgrounds, African American, my fellow Anglo-Indians and other Eurasians, POC generally and whatnot, maybe become managers, I think, but people might disagree with me. Like, to me, a manager of an Italian team or something, I don't really care about their background. I only care about their experience and whether they can help Italian teams and Celtic to win games, and most importantly win trophies. But getting more African Americans into soccer, and maybe people from different minority backgrounds, again mainly focusing on African Americans. Maybe FIFA and UEFA FIFA at least could work with them. UEFA's more in Europe, but maybe UEFA could work with more minorities, including Black people in Europe, to help them to get into it. But again, focusing more on African Americans. Seeing how more African Americans could become players, soccer players, coaches, and be involved in soccer tactics, and becoming dietitians, directors of football and whatnot, and even funding Italian teams, like improving relations through soccer. Another quirky idea of mine. But yeah, I love for, as I say, AC Milan and other Italian teams. Funny enough, coincidentally I'm wearing an AC Milan cap, but I love for Italian teams, I'll say, like AC Milan, even Inter Milan, Juventus, and other Italian teams, to have academies for African Americans, and hopefully build relations and have like supporters clubs, tackle racism through football, especially soccer, or whatever you call it, especially in Italy itself, as a supporter of Italian soccer. I know, a quirky little thing I joke about being mixed race, like mixed up, and all that kind of thing. I support Italian soccer in spite of the fact that they can be very racist, and that in spite of the fact that they are a former colony or whatever, or colonizer. Number 7, talking about Celtic, as I say, I was hoping the Hibs could do us a favour. I hope Celtic can see this game through. I haven't really checked on the score whilst making this video, but after this video, I'm hoping to check the score before I go to Subway. But again, Celtic could have academies, supporters clubs and whatnot, and that kind of thing for African Americans, and help African Americans to develop into players, coaches, coaching staff, managers, directors of football, and all sorts of things like that. And seeing how football and diets can help with fitness and health and that kind of thing for African Americans. These are, as I say, not just my quirky ideas, so I love to know what you think as ever. But moving on to number 8, as I say, I'd love to see how other minorities and potential allies could help them, and again, how Italian soccer and Celtic could fundraise for African Americans and have academies and sports clubs and that kind of thing, how different investors and sponsors could support those sorts of goals, and that kind of thing. And number 9, talking about sponsors and things like that, and investors who could invest into and fund and support African Americans. I don't agree with illegal immigration. I don't agree with when I talk about ICE. I mentioned that because I talk about ICE and that kind of thing. So that's a bit of a dilemma, because their sports would argue they're only trying to get rid of illegal immigration, but people might say they're doing it in a very harsh way. But if I agree, Americans could say we're not going to force other people to help us, but our potential allies like myself and other potential minorities, POC and whatnot, certainly for this month, hopefully, especially, and companies and whatnot, of their own free choice, I was going to say, of their own attrition, if that's the right word, of their own free will, of their own back, basically could. I suppose that's the same we say in Britain. I don't know if they say that in other countries, but of their own back, i.e., of their own free choice, could choose to train up and support and fund African Americans, especially their businesses, and maybe like, as I say, more African Americans investing together, running businesses, having a trusted account, like someone like Damon John, the Shark Tank, an African American entrepreneur, funny enough, one with dyslexia as well. He could, I know he does Black Entrepreneurs Day, but he could do something where it's like he could invest on behalf of other African Americans. I guess they'd have to trust each other and find a way to make sure they do it legally and continue to support each other. Again, another quite my idea of mine. I'd also love to, again, I know I said I like to focus on different themes for different days, and I'd love to focus on like poetry, art, and writing on Wednesdays. But yeah, throughout the month, I hope to support and raise the profile of and just generally support African American poets, artists, and writers, and maybe Black poets, artists, and writers around the world. And again, on that note, I'd love to know any ideas and suggestions you have of your own on that. And yeah, learning from African Americans about their priorities, putting ideas, ideals, dreams, have a trusted account where they invest it together, and that kind of thing, hopefully empowering them in the short and especially in the longer term. And number 10 on that, supporting young people for the future, young Black entrepreneurs from America and around the world. And again, maybe learning from each other and getting teaching, training, mentorship, and things like that, which I hope to cover more in parts 2, 3, and 4, perhaps, or certainly part 2, maybe 3 and 4 as well. Anyway, on that note, I'm out. Peace and love.